Hi, this is Austin. Welcome to my channel. From time to time, I like to ask myself a simple question. If I had to start investing all over again in 2026, what would I actually do? Not out of regret, and not because I think I did everything wrong, but because experience gives you clarity that theory never can. After years of investing through different market conditions, emotions, and life stages, I have learned what truly matters and what doesn't. Starting over today wouldn't be about chasing returns or trying to be clever. It would be about building a foundation that's calm, simple, and sustainable from the very beginning. In this video, I want to share exactly how I would approach investing if I were starting fresh in 2026, not with shortcuts or promises, but with a mindset and structure that I believe can last for decades. The biggest mistake I see beginners make is focusing too much on getting the perfect outcome instead of building the right process. Many people start investing by worrying about the returns, timing, or which assets will perform best next, and that pressure often leads to hesitation or constant second-guessing. I remember feeling that same urges early on, thinking that every decision had to be optimal from the start. Over time, I realized this mindset creates more anxiety than progress. In reality, long-term success comes from staying invested, not from making perfect moves. If I were starting in 2026, I would shift my attention away from prediction and toward building habits that make it easy to stay consistent through uncertainty. If I were starting again in 2026, the first thing I would do is define a clear and simple goal for what I am investing. Not a precise number or a strict deadline, but a purpose that actually matters to my life. For me, investing has always been about creating freedom, stability, and options over time, and that clarity makes every decision easier. When the goal is clear, it becomes much harder to get distracted by short-term noises or emotional swings. I wouldn't worry about automatic returns in the beginning. I'd focus on making sure my investing had a direction, because once you know why you are investing, the how becomes much simpler to figure out. If I were starting over in 2026, I would deliberately choose simplicity instead of variety. It's very tempting at the beginning to want a little bit of everything, different ETFs, sectors, things, or strategies, because it feels like being diversified and well prepared. But from experience, I know that too much choices often leads to confusion and inconsistency. Starting with one or two broad, well-diversified ETFs will give me clarity and confidence without overwhelming myself. Simplicity makes it easier to stay consistent, especially when the markets becomes volatile or boring. Rather than trying to build a perfect portfolio from day one, I would focus on building a portfolio I can actually stick with for many years. If I were starting again in 2026, I would automate as much of my investing as possible from the very beginning. Automation removes emotion from the process and turns good intentions into consistent action. By setting fixed contribution amounts on fixed days, I wouldn't need to decide each month whether to invest or wait. The decision would already be made. This kind of structure protects you during both market highs and market lows because it keeps you moving forward regardless of how you feel. Automation isn't about being lazy, it's about being realistic. It ensures that consistency happens even when the motivation is low or life gets busy. If I were starting in 2026, I would be very intentional about what I choose to ignore. Market predictions, daily headlines, and constant commentary can be easily overwhelm a beginner and make investing feel far more complicated than it needs to be. Early on, too much information often creates doubt rather than clarity. I would limit my exposure to noises and focus only on what directly supports my long-term plan. Ignoring most market noises doesn't mean being uninformed. It means protecting your attention so you can stay disciplined. By keeping my focus narrow, I give myself a much better chance to stay consistent through both calm periods and uncertain ones. If I were starting over in 2026, I would measure my progress in years, not months. One of the fastest ways to lose confidence as a beginner is to expect visible results too soon. In the early stage, investing often feels slow and unrewarding, and that can create unnecessary doubt. I would set my expectations clearly from the start and remind myself that meaningful progress takes time to show up. By thinking in longer time frames, short-term fluctuations lose their power, and patience becomes much easier to maintain. Measuring progress in years allows compounding to work quietly in the background and keeps emotions from interfering with decisions that are meant to last for decades. If I were starting again in 2026, I would prepare myself emotionally for boredom and doubt from the very beginning. No one talks enough about this part for investing, but it's one of the most common reasons people quit. There will be long stretches where nothing exciting happens, where progress feels invisible, and where you start questioning whether you are doing the right thing. I would remind myself that these feelings are signs of failure, they are signs for the process is working as intended. Long-term investing isn't meant to be entertaining, it's meant to be reliable. By accepting boredom and doubt as normal parts of the journey, I'd make it much easier to stay committed when motivation fades. Looking back, the biggest difference between how I would start investing in 2026 and how I actually started years ago is the level of plan and clarity I will bring from day one. The first time around, I spent too much energy worrying about whether I was doing the right things perfectly and whether I was missing better opportunities. If I were starting again now, I'd trust simplicity sooner and stop trying to optimize every decision. I'd be more patient with my process, less reactive to short-term results, and more confident that consistency alone can take you very far over time. Experience had taught me that the success doesn't come from being clever. It comes from staying steady long enough for the plan to work. If there is one thing I truly believe after years of investing, it's that starting simple is a huge advantage, not a limitation. A clear goal, a simple strategy, and consistent habits create a foundation that can carry you through uncertainty, boredom, and doubt. You don't need to get everything right at the beginning. You just need a system that's easy to stick with. If you're starting or restarting your investing journey in 2026, know that clarity and patience will take you further than complexity ever could. Long-term investing isn't about making fast decisions, it's about making sustainable ones and giving them enough time to work. Thanks for watching, I'm Austin, and see you next week.